Hi BookTube, it's Roz.
And Steve.
And it's week 3 of Faulkner in August,
Mm-hmm.
where we're talking about The Sound and the Fury by William Faulkner, hosted by a few people, and I'll put the links in the show notes below. But so this week we're talking about the third section of the book.
Yeah.
First impressions?
I picked up a hint of bitterness and
Resentment?
Seething resentment.
Seething resentment?
Yeah,
came in there?
Yeah, I think Jason feels he's had a bit of a hard time.
Yes.
Yeah, and he deserves better. And to be fair to him, he has had a pretty hard time.
Yes,
whether that means he deserves better is another matter.
Yes, but, whether he actually needs to take it out on all the rest of the world subsequently is questionable, perhaps. But and yet on one level understandable. So Jason is the third Compson sibling to get a section to himself, and Jason. So he's Jason the fourth. His father was also a Jason, and he is a miserable git, isn't he? I think. Yeah.
He's just a crazy mixed up kid, I think.
Yeah.
I blame the parents.
Well, absolutely. I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? That his father was an alcoholic. Mm-hmm. We know. Brian, who's one of the Light in August, Faulkner in August hosts, made the really good point that his mother, Jason's mother, is addicted to patent medicines, and that probably means that in effect she's in a drug-induced haze, because those patent medicines tended to have
they'll have had,
opium
opiates or
and cocaine in them. So she's always like in her room and not quite with it. So basically,
I think it's interesting, isn't it? Because at one point she says to Jason, "Oh, you can find yourself a wife or something like that when I'm dead."
When I'm dead. Yes.
The dramatic sort of stuff. And he sort of says she would probably turn out to be a hophead, which is the only thing we haven't got in this family, which I think probably is a hint that there probably is someone who's
yes, it's slang for a drug addict or drug user, and she is. So of the siblings, they're all, I suppose, damaged by their parents in different ways, and we have Caddy, who seeks sort of identity and validation is the word, through sexual relationships, and then runs off.
Well, she wants someone to love her, doesn't she?
And someone to say she's special and important, I suppose. Or
but commitment is something, I think, which she struggles with.
And then Quentin commits suicide. Benji, learning disability. And then Jason is a sociopath.
So all of which you could argue psychologically are consequences of addictive parents and poor attachment, I think, in early stages. And I think there's a hint of that around the scene with Quentin Jr. being brought back from wherever. And there's a debate about whether Dilsey assumes that she will bring up the baby as she's brought up all the others, and the mother is sort of there's the Mrs. Compson,
Caroline
is sort of insisting that she should do it, and so there's things about early attachment, I think, that are there for the family.
And we're going to find out a bit more about Dilsey in the fourth section, but it's like she's sort of, it's like the foster parent of all 4 children, and then Miss Quentin subsequently, but she can't be, she doesn't have the control to be the sort of the full parent to them, because the parents. And it's interesting that Jason is in some ways the most damaged. Well, it sounds funny to say the most damaged when Quentin committed suicide, but I think he is. And you feel like their father had gradually been sinking into alcoholism and was sort of less caring and interested in him than he had been in Quentin and Caddy. So.
Well, yes, he sort of comments that he eventually stopped coming upstairs and just stayed down by the
cycle,
cupboard, with the drinking all the time.
And I think, and thinking back to the first section, I think Jason was quite, losing the grandmother was probably quite significant for him. Yeah. Because Damadi. Yeah. I mean, we just get a little clue of that, don't we? Yeah. Well, so he has had a rough time.
Yeah, he has.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't then,
redeem himself.
No. I mean, and what's interesting about this section is that it's in the first person. So you're very much in Jason's head. Yeah. And he believes, he believes in the justification for his action. I mean, he kind of knows that he's a liar and a cheat and a thief, and he doesn't.
It's about a sense of entitlement. It's about and about feeling hard done by. He lost his job. He was going to get to put his feet up on a big mahogany desk. With in his own bank, although he questions whether or not, there's a question whether or not that
Candy's husband could actually have delivered on that. But he
even
was
so,
promised
that's part of the deal that he feels was taken away from him unfairly by Candy's behaviour.
But it does feel like no one's ever really loved Jason. I mean, his mother sort of says she does, but she's not really equipped to express that usefully, is she? And then he actually, it's almost like he despises her all the more for caring about him, and exploits it.
Well, I think it's interesting because he's looking for security, isn't he? He's in a house which is collapsing. A family which is degenerating. He's got one brother who's committed suicide, another brother who is obviously has got severe mental health problems, and everything is very sort of fragmented, and there's no solidity there for him, which he wants, and so he seeks to do that through money. Accumulating money, and for me, I was saying earlier on, he sort of represents materialism to a certain extent.
But the problem is that he's actually
not very good at it. No, he's good at.
He's good at. He's good at deception. But he's not good at then generating any money, as far as we can tell. These sort of his failed attempts to speculate on the stock market or the cotton market and so on.
And I was sort of wondering if this led to sort of broader sort of things, because quite clearly 1928 when this is set is a and there's a lot of stuff about stocks and shares, so it's a precursor to the Wall Street crash of 29 that is going to happen, and again sort of symbolic or echoes of the collapse of the South in some extent. But also, I think I read somewhere in saying that Faulkner was very careful about locating this over the Easter weekend. But there's very little religion or spirituality in the book. And so for me, it's that contrast, perhaps the contrast of Jason's materialism and desire for money and his greed for that as a reason, as a way of security, might be contrasted with the sort of the decline of religion or faith. If it is, because if this is happening, then they are working on Good Friday.
His day.
His day
would be Good Friday.
And there's a show in town, but it's not a religious show. And so.
And I hadn't picked up on that at all. That it was Easter. So that's really interesting bit that comes into the fourth section at all.
It's something I read, and I may be just making a mountain out of a molehill, but it just sort of seemed like an interesting thing.
And one thing that has become abundantly clear to me reading this book in particular is that Faulkner never does anything kind of accidentally. Everything, it may seem random, but it's all very carefully planned, isn't it?
He's making a point.
So everything is there for a reason, and you come back and find out.
He's a very good writer, really, isn't
he? There is that. This section is it's seen as more straightforward than the two that precede it, isn't it? It's slightly, but it's still completely manic. I mean, it all happens at this sort of. He never stops, does he? He's always on to the next thing. Hustling
Yeah.
and moving and he's moving almost all the time. He gets really frustrated when he has to stop still and wait while someone's choosing what kind of wire or something. Whether to have the 10-cent one or the 30-cent one. He's constantly poking his head in places, and then gets really and then there's the scene that's probably the best bit for me in the section where he's chasing after Miss Quinton in this sort of mad wild goose chase through the woods and so on.
In the car that he has bought with the money that his mother gave him to invest in the business where he worked. And that dynamic with the store owner is interesting. But the whole thing about the car chase, and again, that's about materialism, that's about things, isn't it? And the showman with the red tie. The symbolism of red tie, you wonder.
But he has quite, his attitude to Miss Quinton, there's something sort of sexually wrong about that. Again, isn't there? There's the scene where he's sort of pushing her into the dining room and her kimono's coming off, and then there's one where she's saying she's going to rip her clothes off, and he gets really, really angry, and then he's trying to catch her in the act of canoodling or whatever with this he's got a there's a sort of prurient prurient is a good word, interest in her sort of teenage sexuality.
But interesting, there's no other sorts of hints of sex. Well, no, there is, isn't it?
He's got the mistress.
He's got the mistress, or
the mistress in Memphis, who he keeps like at a safe distance, and that he's trying, to maintain.
She's not allowed to write to him.
She's allowed to write to him in a plain envelope. She's not allowed to ring him. He won't write to her. He wants to keep her guessing. He gives her quite generous amounts of money, but sporadically, so that she never knows what she can rely on.
That's a transactional relationship, isn't it?
Oh, Again, there is no one who's just really kind of wholeheartedly cares for him, and then he pushes people away by his horrible behaviour.
Also because he learned at a very early age that no one did care for him, really, and they may pay lip service to it, but the only person that's going to help him is himself. And as you say, he's not very good at that.
He's not very good at that.
And he tries to help himself.
And fails miserably again and again. But he's trying to maintain control. And I think that makes sense as the child of an alcoholic and so on, that kind of trying to
if people are untrustworthy and unreliable, then you're looking for something to that's safe and secure, and come back to money
so yes, so it is a little bit more linear, although not exactly straightforward.
There's still a fair amount of stream of consciousness in it. Then there's a lot of unpunctuated sentences. I think there's one paragraph where she refers to his mother and to Caddy and to Miss Quentin, more or less in a space of about three sentences.
She, and
you have to work to keep up with who he's referring to. And there are changes in time within paragraphs as well. So it's less stream of consciousness than the previous two. Obviously, he's going to be more structured than Benji, and probably more structured than
Quentin,
who is obviously
working up to his suicide. So
but his thought processes can be quite.
But this is more of an ordinary day for him, as it were. But not. So I'm very much looking forward to the fourth section.
Indeed.
I'm waiting for Sir Dilsey's section to sort of somehow pull things together for me more, I hope. But we shall see. It's 2 days after Jason's section, I think.
The section with Benji is in between, isn't it?
The day in between. So that will then all kind of make more sense.
So if my reading is right, then it's Easter Sunday. So that'll be interesting. Okay, going back to the first, Benji, a couple of times they mentioned that Benji's 33.
Yes.
which is allegedly the age
Jesus'
that
age.
Jesus was when he was crucified.
Yeah.
Crucifixion, castration, interestingly. So
Yeah.
is Benji going to rise again? It's about redemption, isn't it?
Redemption.
So is there
Will
any
there
hope
be
of redemption for anybody in the Compson family?
I don't think so.
Tune in this time next week.
Yeah, to find out more.